Okay, so you have two of the most powerful people on the planet. One is building the technology that's literally defining our future, and the other controls the stories that shape how we see the world right now. Today, we are diving deep into the empires of Elon Musk and Rupert Murdoch. So, on one side, you've got Elon Musk. You know the names: X, Tesla, SpaceX. His whole world is the digital frontier, and his influence feels so direct, so personal, almost completely unfiltered. And then there's Rupert Murdoch. He's the titan behind a massive media empire. Think NewsCorp, Fox News. His domain is the global newsroom, and his power is institutional, coming down through editors and legendary brands. Two giants, two totally different ways of wielding influence.
So how in the world did they build these empires? Well, it really all boils down to two radically different ideas about risk, power, and what it means to be in control.
Musk's approach is pure, high-stakes Silicon Valley. I mean, he's famously quoted as saying his mentality is like a samurai's. For him, failure isn't just a setback, it's a fate worse than death. This whole vision is built on the intense, singular drive of just one person. Now, contrast that with Murdoch's NewsCorp, which is this giant machine of corporate governance. I mean, their own reports talk about oversight from boards, committees full of senior leaders, and all sorts of experts. This isn't about one guy's samurai code. This is a deeply embedded institutional system built to last. And that has huge implications, right? One model bets everything on a single genius, while the other puts its faith in a powerful, resilient system. These two very different philosophies directly shape how each of them controls the information that we see every single day. One runs a platform, the other commands a fleet of publishers. And honestly, this distinction is right at the heart of the whole debate about media today. Musk's influence, of course, is most direct through his control of X. The platform's official philosophy, taken right from their latest transparency report, is freedom of speech, not freedom of reach. The idea is that they won't necessarily remove content, but they might limit how many people can see it if it's considered problematic. But okay, what does that freedom of reach idea actually look like in practice? Well, the platform's own data shows that in just the first half of 2024, more than 5 million users were suspended, and over 10 million posts were taken down completely. So for a philosophy that's about simply limiting reach, well, it still ends up involving actions that look an awful lot like traditional content moderation. Now let's switch over to Murdoch's empire. The main criticism here isn't about content moderation, it's about content creation. The argument from critics is that NewsCorp isn't some neutral stage for ideas, but that it's an active player, an organization that's actually shaping the news to fit a specific agenda. And Murdoch's influence is channeled through these incredibly powerful and very distinct editorial voices. You've got everything from the populist roar of Fox News to the financial authority of the Wall Street Journal. Each one gives millions of people a very specific, curated lens to see the world through. It's not a single algorithm. It's a whole collection of newsrooms, and each one has its own take. You know, when you have this much power, controversy is pretty much inevitable. But for these two guys, it shows up in completely different ways, and it has very, very different consequences. For Musk, controversies often just explode right out of his personal statements, which he broadcasts directly to millions of followers. Case in point, according to an article read into the U.S. congressional record, he's called Social Security a Ponzi scheme. You can imagine that kind of rhetoric from someone like him instantly kicks off a massive public and political firestorm. And that rhetoric has a real, tangible impact. That same congressional record has letters from regular citizens expressing just profound fear. This quote right here connects that high-level Ponzi scheme debate directly to the real-world anxiety it creates for people who actually depend on these programs, people who are terrified they could lose their homes. For Murdoch, controversy often becomes institutional, and it can get expensive. I'm talking really expensive. Just look at the jaw-dropping $787 million settlement that Fox News paid in the Dominion lawsuit. In this case, the controversy wasn't about a single off-the-cuff remark. It was about the sustained editorial narrative of a major news organization, which led to an absolutely massive legal and financial consequence. So let's just break this down, because it's a crucial difference. Musk's controversies, they're deeply tied to his personal brand and his direct actions. Murdoch's controversies, on the other hand, come from the institutional machinery of his empire. One leads to fiery online debates, the other can lead to 9-figure legal settlements.
All right, so where is all of this power actually heading? What kind of future are these two titans trying to build? Well, one is focused squarely on this planet, while the other is looking way, way beyond it.
If you dig into NewsCorp's own corporate reports, their vision for the future is distinctly terrestrial. The goals are all about corporate responsibility, sourcing paper sustainably, cutting carbon emissions, promoting diversity. It's the vision of a legacy corporation trying to optimize its operations for what they see as a better world.
Musk's vision, however, is literally out of this world. He's not just building companies, he's building stepping stones to the stars. He said himself that even a massive project, like a global satellite internet network, is really just a means to an end. It's a revenue stream to fund his ultimate crazy audacious goal, a self-sustaining city on Mars. And that really leaves us with this final, fascinating question. You have one titan shaping the political and cultural landscape of our planet today, and another one building the tools for us to leave it entirely. As both of them continue to exert their incredible influence, you have to wonder, whose vision, the terrestrial or the interplanetary, is ultimately going to define the future of humanity?